Okay, Monday, 3rd of November 2025. So, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Debasement trade. Bitcoin is the debasement trade. Now, this is fascinating for a few different reasons. So, when we say debasement, we mean thinning out, diluting, weakening. Very interesting. But thinning out and diluting and weakening of what? The US dollar. That's what the debasement trade fundamentally points to, meaning the US dollar is being printed infinitum because of fractions of lending, the banks, and what's it called? What's it called again? Um, Quantitative easing. That's it. So money is being printed left, right, and centre in some fashion, meaning this product, this money, this currency is being printed infinitum. So therefore, what is the trade? What is a good hedge? What is a good protection against this fact of life happening? Well, it's hard assets, things that are scarcer and harder to produce, meaning things that can't be created as easily or out of thin air, because pounds, dollars, euros, and whatever else can be created out of thin air. But the other side, these other assets over here, because they got a more fixed supply, they they go up in price. Everything goes up in price in terms of dollar amount, but then what else is also more secure as a form of money? I did a video about this regards to Bitcoin thought experiment where take different kinds of products and think, well, how does this compare as a kind of money? So we say Bitcoin with its fixed supply and it is its proof of work mechanism with regards to more of it being created. And because it's fixed in sort of protocol, there's an interesting dynamic at play where as demand increases or price increases, supply does not increase. Unlike that of say gold, silver, and you know what else, or whoever else, or whatever else, because as the price of gold goes up, it becomes more economically viable to dig up the gold that's over there or the gold over there. Oh, the gold needs to be $7,000 an ounce to be sustainable or economic, but over there it needs $10,000. Ah, interesting. So as the price goes up, more enters the market. But with Bitcoin, it's a fixed supply and a fixed protocol. There is no change of supply. It's consistent no matter where the demand goes. And the demand comes from awareness and understanding and adoption, meaning more things like the debasement trade comes to fruition, comes to light, enters the zeitgeist, more people are aware of it, then more people are able to quantify it and articulate it and look for protection, look for an alternative. Bitcoin. Eventually, there's a nice meme in the space that all roads lead to Bitcoin, meaning as you go down the rabbit hole, understand the technology, understand what you're up against, it points to Bitcoin. And this is why in one video I did a year or something ago, where paradoxically, sometimes you don't want the price of Bitcoin to go up. Because the price of Bitcoin going up is an indication of the wheels falling off the cart, meaning things are getting out of control, things are getting wild, meaning the debasement trade is getting faster and faster and bigger, meaning more debt is being added to the world. Was it like $1 trillion per 6 months now? Whoa, that's it's going to get faster and faster and faster. And as more dollars and euros and pounds, whatever else, are created, those currencies get debased, diluted away. More and more money will flow into harder assets. And as more people understand the differences between gold and Bitcoin, the first principles, the technological differences, they're going to choose Bitcoin because it's as a superiority, as a superior asset. Therefore, all that liquidity is going to slush into Bitcoin. And then you're going to see things like one house is a tenth of a Bitcoin, things like that, into the future. Wow. So as these get printed infinitum, that money has to go somewhere. And then we can go deeper to say, right, well, if you flip the denominator and price things, not in dollars, because everything increases in dollars over time, but price things in other things, like Bitcoin, you realize that one Bitcoin buys more and more stuff. So over time, money printing happens, things get more and more expensive, but things get cheaper and cheaper in terms of Bitcoin, meaning that over time that one Bitcoin buys more and more things. This product here, this or whatever else, this requires fewer and fewer satoshis to buy one of them. It costs fewer and fewer satoshis. Whoa. that's the polar opposite of the debasement trade. I'm not even sure what the word for that is. Solidification trade or valuification trade, or is it deflationary trade? Really, arguably deflationary. If this is inflationary by nature, by default, as a descriptive, not a prescriptive lens, this over here is deflationary. So as the debasement continues, world debt goes up, US debt clock goes up and up and up. That money eventually finds its way into harder assets, things that are harder to create, harder to create out of thin air, things like that. And as people understand Bitcoin's first principles, money you can own, money you can spend, fixed supply, decentralized, apolitical, censorship resistant, all roads lead to Bitcoin. Especially as the market infrastructure changes and it's viewed as a capital asset or as pristine collateral, then more and more banks are going to use it as a tool, as an option, because it's liquid, open 24/7, even down to where people say Bitcoin is the market that knows all, something akin to that, because people can trade on it even during the weekend when the markets are closed. So it moves first, then the rest of the market catches up. So it's fascinating. As this continues, more and more money printing, all that money has to go somewhere, but people have to understand where to put it first. So then you realize the real meta pattern is education, understanding what this is as a first principle basis through descriptive is, does, and are, as opposed to a prescriptive ought and should and could lens. And then we realize that, it's inevitable. And I guess at an even deeper meta level, that is where that conviction comes from with regards to where Bitcoin will be in terms of price and infrastructure, market infrastructure, in the next 4, 8, 12 years and beyond. Powerful stuff. Yeah. But it's worth understanding how the market is changing, what's happening, and the awareness, what new things are coming into the zeitgeist, the debasement trade. 5, 10 years from now, that'll be seen as blindingly obvious. Yeah, of course it was happening. It was right under our nose. The debt was increasing. We see the debt clock going up and up and up. Of course, it was blindingly obvious. Well, but that's 15 years from now, easily. Yeah. But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.